You're listening to Arise, the podcast that teaches you how to live your life with purpose and confidence. I'm your host, Donna Cherie. Let's get into today's show. Arise. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode. Today, I am spotlighting someone who has actually come across my path in passing, and we've been in a similar situation before, and just want to give her the space and opportunity to share her journey, to share her story of triumph with you all today. So welcome to the show, April.
Hi.
All right, so tell the audience a little bit about who you are and what you do.
My name is April Barber Scales, and what I do is advocacy work. I have a startup business called Fenced In Fighting for Freedom Advocacy, and with that, I advocate for those who are incarcerated and also provide resources to them, like preparing reentry packets, helping them if they've reached their 25-year mark, prepare letters to their DA so they will hopefully become eligible for parole. And once they get released, give them a little starter kit, a few resources. That's my passion project and my favorite job. My primary job is also with the people. I work with home health. Most of my residents have dementia. A lot of people say I must be a very patient person, but my answer to that is that where I came from, if that didn't teach a few patients, then I don't know what does. And I also am a personal trainer.
Okay, and what got you started with your passion project?
My passion project stemmed from my 31 and a half years of incarceration. I entered the system at 15 and was released by the governor March 24th of last year at the age of 46. So that is definitely my passion. It's my family, it's my friends. I'm insistent upon going back and getting them. If only I get them one at a time. I'm insistent upon not allowing their conditions to last as long as mine did, and providing them just the normalcy and the humanity and dignity that they deserve, even though they're still incarcerated.
Okay, so regarding, I want to make sure I get it right again. Freedom, you said freedom?
Fighting for freedom advocacy.
Okay,
One of the things
that okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. One of the things that I did during my incarceration was write. I had a lot of time on my hands, and journaling was my means of escape. When they wouldn't let me outside to exercise, my mind still was just going. So I had to get that aggression and that pent-up energy out. So I journaled, and that journaling turned into writing. So I actually wrote and published 4 books, one of which is called Fenced In Fighting for Freedom, which is the journey of how I got to prison and my journey to be released. I also wrote Quotes 365, which is a meditative journal, year long, and 31 Days of Growth and Reflection, which is a smaller scale. I wrote that one because if it takes 21 days to break a habit, then you should have broken it within 31. And then I have a short novella named Memoirs of Susie, which is about the relationship that I had with my mother.
Okay, and because I'm sure somebody who might be listening is they're thinking, wow, 31 years, like that's a long time, or I haven't even reached 31 years of age yet, or I'm past that. So how were you able to have a positive mindset throughout this process and just have this internal resiliency, if you will?
When I got arrested, I was only 2 months pregnant. So my driving force for the entire time was my unborn child. He grew up to be a Marine. We're very close. He now trains Navy SEALs. He and I are very close. So the person that raised him, I was able to maintain somewhat of a relationship. She went through some issues, and there were some times when I couldn't see him for various reasons. But that was my driving force because I always wanted to be the mother that I didn't have. I always wanted to be the parent. And when all else failed, when life just made me want to just throw in the towel, that was the reason why I was able to just wake up each day.
As far as, your release, what did that look like? Or, what were some of the contributions of how you got out?
The governor, Roy Cooper, put a committee in place about a year and a half ago called the Juvenile Sentencing Review Board. And this committee was to review cases of those of us who were sentenced under the age of 18. And my record, I had a lot of advocates at this point who thought that I was deserving of a second chance and a release. I also had obtained a lot of certifications and educational opportunities. They were few and far between, and they ebbed and flowed because one of the things that they took from inmates was, of course, education. They thought that we were not ever going to use it and that we shouldn't be wasting the taxpayers' time and money by utilizing. But every chance I got to obtain something, I took a class. I took anything that I could to keep my mind active. And with that, and just remaining infraction free and just being focused, then that was one of the things that propelled me. And I was one of the first of three that were released.
Wow, I'm so glad. And now you have the opportunity to just go back. Some people after this experience, they may be like, hey, I want to forget about it. I just want to move on and live my own life. But clearly you have a servant's heart to be able to help someone else who needs you. People need you. And so
Well,
I'm glad.
I needed someone back then. So I need to be the person that reached out and helped me. I didn't have a lot of resource support, but once I got out, my reentry counsel was really good. One of the attorneys remained in my life for 27 years. She tried to handle my habeas corpus in 97 and that didn't work, but she always believed in me. And anytime that she could think of anything that could assist me, or if I had a question, she was always there. So 27 years later, my first 95 days I spent with her. That's whose house that I was released to.
Wow, wow, wow. And that makes such a difference when we have
Yeah.
that support. With the organization that you have now, are you currently working on specific issues or specific individuals that you're trying to help?
I have a couple of different ones. There's one, and I don't know if I can name drop, but if you happen to look her up, her name is Jacqueline Alexander. She's now 61. She has various health problems. She has served her 25 years. So I have worked with her attorney and advocated for her to hopefully be eligible for parole after the 25-year mark. There's a certain clause that a lot of people, maybe like 200 people, were caught in this 2-year period where life without parole, they had thought about giving them an eligibility date of 25 years. And she was one of the ones that's caught in this. And then after this 2-year period, they went back to saying life without parole. But there are people also that have that I've advocated for. There's someone who served, I think he served maybe at least 30 years. I'm helping him preparing his reentry plan because he had a life sentence. And when he was younger, he never thought he would get out. But now, laws and things have changed and he's actually honor grade status, but he never thought of a plan. What if I got out? So I'm in the process of helping him also get resources to the county that he's going to reenter into.
Okay. And is this something that you're just doing like in North Carolina or locally within your county, or is this a nationwide effort?
Well, I do help more people in North Carolina because that's where I was. But as people hear my story, I do help other organizations that have reached out to me. I've reached back out. So when they have a case, I actually have sat in on various parole hearings and in other states. So it seems to be worldwide. Like there's a guy in California who's on death row. I'm trying to help him look into his case. There's a lady in Ohio that I was sitting in on her parole hearing. And I think she had been passed up the last few times, but after speaking with me, from what I hear, she's been passed on to the next step. So after that's just a process, so certain levels. So she's at least made it to the next level at this point.
Okay. And like, how in when thinking back, like how far you made it and what you're doing now, like how does that make you feel?
I'm just able to do what I wanted to do. I mean, I was the same person, and the times that I did get into trouble, incarcerated, was because I bucked the system. I knew that there had to be a better way, and I was being mistreated, and that just made me so angry with the staff. And that was my biggest complaint. I just knew there was a different way to do things, and that made more sense. And now I'm able to do that and go back and kind of counteract some of the things that I encountered. So hopefully, the next group that came behind me won't have to deal with the same amount of stress.
And I mean, just like within your work itself, as far as being able to reach out and give someone else like steps to, hey, you need to do this and the third, like from that perspective, like do you see this as like your purpose, or are there other aspirations that you have now?
I want to complete the degree that I was not able to complete in there. So next month, I will go back to school to finish my AA in general studies with everything that I did take in there. I'm luckily only 5 classes away. So I should knock that out within a year. I also have a passion for working with youth. I've started working with at-risk youth, so I'll also be getting my peer support certification in hopes to deter some of the young people. I was 15, well, I was 14 at the time, and I met a man who was 29. And that was just the beginning of the end. So if there are other ways, or if there are people, especially when you're young, that you can connect with, they can just say, hey, this is not going to work, because, sometimes you have to just not only talk the talk and walk the walk, you have to just walk with them sometimes to show them that there's a different way, whether they be juveniles, middle-aged, or older people. I mean, we all can take a step back and just look at things differently if we have the right example in front of us.
True. And I really think that's so important. Because sometimes I think back to like, man, if I just had a mentor in my life who could steer me away from,
Mhm.
the other things that I was involved with, it would have made a world of difference. So that's so true. And now, April, like where does your confidence stem from to like keep going? Because you had to rebuild your life even after getting out, and like you said, having your own plan of, housing and all these things. But where does your confidence stem from to continue on and get to the next step?
The ones I left behind, they call me somewhat of their sojourner truth. So they believe in me. They believe that I'm doing my part. And even when someone tells me no, they know that I will continue to move forward until someone tells me yes. And I have a lot of advocates still that were in my life before that I associate with now, and just different organizations. As I put my story out there, people also connect with me to help whomever they're trying to help, and we're all helping one another.
Another question that I have for you: once you got out, like in, I guess it's been a year now, is that right?
Well, over year, March 24th of last year.
Okay, okay. So, with that, what has been, I guess, kind of like a comparison from like your first day getting out to just where you are now?
Well, when I was locked up, I was just in driver's ed. So I've had to learn to drive. I was only behind the wheel a couple of times, so I've had to drive. Um, that's been somewhat challenging, as long as the highway still irks me, but I will go on that. So I would say that is it. And, regardless that I've done my time, I work. Sometimes I apply for a job. Sometimes they tell me yes. Sometimes they tell me no. It used to really get on me whenever they said no, but now I look at it as, maybe that just wasn't a good fit, and they're just not in the right space for me. But that used to get on my nerves.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
I know that journey myself, so
Yeah,
yeah.
it's kind of like you do your time, but when is enough? We
Mhm.
were allowed to vote, and I was excited, and I got to vote the first year, and then the laws changed. So the Republicans took over, so I'm not allowed to vote until I come off of parole, which is 2025. But still, that's another year that someone else is reminding me that I'm really not free.
Mm. Yeah, and that's why it's all more the importance to just keep fighting and to keep pushing against those barriers so that we can help
Mhm.
someone else and to be still continue to be encouraged, throughout the process. as far as, so say for instance, if there's somebody listening to this and they might have experienced, something similar as far as along the lines of incarceration, and they're trying to rebuild their life, what are some simple steps that you can advise them, if you will, to like continue on their journey or move forward?
Well, no's do not define who you are. Only you have that definition. You have to get up and put one foot in front of the other. The same no's that they told you in there, they're going to tell you out here. But you just have to realize, like I did, everything is not for you. Everything that looks good to you and looks easy is not for you. And you have to always remember to put your dreams and hopes first. Don't ever sacrifice yourself anymore, because the system has already sacrificed enough of your life. So there's no need in looking back, unless it's to look back and lend a helping hand to someone. And you have to always remember, those of us that were incarcerated, if you have someone, don't forget where you came from. So it's important to reach back out at least to one person. I challenge everyone to at least reach out to one person and just kind of sponsor them. The same helping hand that you had, I hope that you reach back and help someone else.
So true. We have to do that. And you mentioned earlier that you have written 4 books, I believe.
Yes. Mm-hmm. 4 books.
Yes. So where can people find your books if they're interested?
Well, they're available on Amazon. If they want to reach out to Stellar, then Stellar has the Fenced In Fighting for Freedom book. The Quotes 365 is Cadmus Publishing, as well as the 31 Days of Growth and Reflection. And Sure Shot, who's also wonderful publishing, Sure Shot has published Memoirs of Susie. But they're all available on Amazon. Look under April Scales.
Okay, awesome. And are you working on any other book projects in the
I
future?
started one. I really, I have to do one. I wanted to wait at least a year till since I got out. So my next one is going to be titled 31 and Done. So,
Oh, all right.
and that's kind of like the journey since I've been out, and just some of the challenges and things that I have done and what I aspire to do. But yeah, 31 and Done.
All right now. And when you said that, something that I just see is is it called the gravel? Like, when the judge hits the gravel, like
Yeah.
that's what I see a picture of.
Yes. Yeah, I don't even know what that would be a good picture. I haven't even gotten that far as because my books that I wrote in there, of course, we don't have an access to computer, and now I do out here, but I still kind of think that I'm used to doing pen to paper. So I just might have to fill up a whole bunch of notebooks and then kind of transpose them into a script. And hopefully I'm not working on it, but I think someone will probably be working on some documentaries for me. I do have an entrepreneur. I have some T-shirts. If you want to message me, I make sure that you get T-shirts, or books. Personally, I do sign autographed versions. So if you are interested, hit me up on Instagram or Facebook.
Okay, and what's your handle there?
My Instagram is April Barber 44, and my Facebook is under April Scales.
All right. Yeah. So Overcomers, be sure to check out April. I've met her in person before, and she is just a phenomenal woman. And thank you so much, April, for coming on the show today. I really appreciate it. And I just encourage you to keep going, to keep pushing and knocking down those walls, and never give up.
Thank you so much. It was a pleasure meeting you, talking to you, and all of you who are listening.
All right, guys. Until next time. Ciao.
Ciao.
Hey, Overcomers. Thanks for tuning in. For more information, head on over to DonnaCherie.com. If you want to find me online, I'm at I am Donna Cherie on Instagram and Facebook. And of course, if you love the show, be sure to subscribe, rate, and review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify.